Hello children, how are you? I hope you all are fine and doing very well with the online classes. You must have been following all the online classes with utmost attention. So today I have come to you with a new chapter number 2 from chemistry. Okay? So chapter number 2 from chemistry, we have elements, compounds and mixture. Okay? Elements, compounds and mixture. Alright. So before going into this chapter, let me request you all, please keep your book open and watch this video. Okay? Please keep your book open and watch this video so that you understand it better. Alright, my dear children? I hope you all are following me. Alright? Okay. Now we have chapter number 2, that is elements, compounds and mixture. Alright. So then when you look around, okay, you find so many things there. Okay? You find so many things there. And all the things that you see around must be having the mass and occupying the space. And as you know, those things which have mass and occupy the space are called matter. Are called what? Matter. Alright. And those matters are made up of very tiny particles which are called atoms, molecules and ions. Alright? Atoms, molecules and ions. All those materials, all those matters are made up of atoms, molecules and ions. Alright? So if you go deep into it, okay, you might be cracking your head. Okay, because at this standard, at this level, going into it, maybe something which might, give you a headache. Okay, that's why we'll just understand in a very simple way that they are the smallest particles of the matter. Okay, though they have got a lot of differences between them, okay, among them, but going into it is not, it's not something good right now, because we have the other standards. We have got 7, we have got 8 there. We'll be doing more about it. But now, what you have to just understand is that they are the smallest particles of the matters. Okay. Now, on the basis of the composition of the matters are of 3 types. Okay. On the basis of the composition of those matters are of Matters are of 3 types. That is element, alright, element, compound and mixture. Element, compound and mixture. The topic of the session is itself is element, compound and mixture. So they are the types of matter. Element, compound and mixture. So element is a pure substance made up of only one kind of atom. For example, we have gold, okay, we have got silver, we have oxygen, etc. There are many, types of, substances that come under element, like gold, silver, oxygen. Silver, you see. Gold, you must have been wearing your earrings there, girls, okay? You must have been wearing your earrings. They must be made up of, either gold or silver. They are all elements, all right? And we have got, iron also there, iron, this iron, okay? Iron, I-R-O and iron. So another example you can write, I-R-O and iron, not iron, it is iron. Is also an element. So this is element. Why they are element? Because they are made up of only one kind of atom. Then we come to next type of matter, that is compound. Why are they compounds? What kind of matters are called compounds? Compounds are those substances which are made up of more than one kind of atom mixed up in the correct proportion. See the word out here being used. Correct proportion. The correct proportion, they are mixed up. So this kind of pure substance is called a compound. For example, you see water. Water is an example of this one. Water, you see, why water is a compound? Water is made up of hydrogen and oxygen. Hydrogen plus oxygen. When hydrogen and oxygen combine in a fixed ratio, the water is formed. Is a compound. Water is a compound. I'll just show you water. This is water, okay? Okay, thank you. This is water, which is a compound. Then beside this we have some other examples also. We have got glucose, okay, glucose. We have salt in the kitchen, common salt. So these are the different types of compounds. Why they are compounds? Because they are made up of more than one type of atoms in the correct proportion. Then we have got, next is a mixture. Mixture is another substance or another matter which is composed of different kinds of substances mixed up randomly, not in the correct proportion, but in the random, quantity, they are mixed up. Okay, so that kind of matter, is called mixture. Example, you see, you take the air in. So air is the example of mixture. Air, okay, air, milk, okay, tea, even tea, air, tea, etc. are the example of mixture. Okay, air. Why air is a mixture? Air contains so many things there, so many gases. It contains oxygen, it contains nitrogen, it contains hydrogen, it contains inert gases, it contains dust particles, it contains different kinds of compounds in it which are randomly mixed up in it. So air is also a mixture. Okay, so we'll not go into all those things like compounds and mixture in detail today. In this session, we'll go about element only. Alright? We'll go about element only in this session. Okay? Element. Now, we'll talk about this element now. This element. We'll talk about this element. Let's not go about these compounds today. We'll go about this element only. Alright? Today. So, element. Element is a pure substance made up of only one kind of atoms, which I've already told you. Okay, so these elements are further classified into four types. Elements are classified into four types. Okay, elements are classified into four types. One is metal. Second, we have non-metal. Okay, METAL, metal. NON-METAL, non-metal. Third, we have metalloids. METALLOIDS, metalloids. And fourth one, we have noble gases. NOBLE, noble gases. Noble gases, or it is also called inert gases, or it is also called rare gases. Okay? Noble gases, or it is also called inert gases, or they are also called rare gases. So these four different types of elements we have. Alright, now we'll go into one by one. Okay, we'll go into metals first, then non-metals, then metalloids and noble gases. Alright, so first let's talk about metals. why they are metals. Why? What kinds of elements are metals? Let us talk about the properties of metals. Let us talk about the properties of those elements which come under metals. Why they are metals? Number one is they are lustrous. Metals are lustrous. That means metallic elements are lustrous. L-U-S-T-R-O-U-S. Lustrous. Lustrous means what? Lustrous means shiny. S-H-I-N-Y. Shiny. It shines. Okay, it shines. Okay, it shines. Lustrous. Please repeat after me. L-U-S-T-R-O-U-S. Lustrous, which means shiny. Okay, so lustrous. They are lustrous. Metals are all lustrous. You can see that your gold, the earrings that you have got there, I've got the the rings out here is also shining. Why? Because it has got the lustrous property. Why? It is a metal. Then we have got the another property of the metal, that is hard. Metals are hard. You see how hard this metal is, how hard this iron is. Okay, so they are very hard. Okay, then we have another property of this metal is malleable. Malleable. M-A-L-L-E-A-B-L-E. Please repeat after me. M-A-L-L-E-A-B-L-E. Malleable. So what kind of property is malleable? What kind of element is malleable? So malleable means those elements which can be beaten into sheets, which can be beaten into the different designs. You see the gold being designed in many shapes. Okay, you find the earring being made in the heart shape, being made in the leaf shape. In different shapes you can make. Okay, so why? Because it is malleable. It can be beaten into the different designs. It can be beaten into different shapes. All right. Then we have next is ductile. Metals are ductile. Metals are ductile. What ductile? What kind of elements are ductile? Why they're ductile? They're ductile because they can be beaten into wires. They can be made into wires. Okay, so I got the wires here. Wire. Okay, see wire. So this wire, say this outermost cover is made up of plastic, which is insulator. But inside, as you see there, this is the metal, which is copper out here. This metal is made into wire. Why? Because this metal is highly ductile. It can be beaten into wire. So this property is called ductility. So metals are ductile. All right. Metals are good conductors. Good conductors of heat and electricity. Good conductors of heat and electricity. Metals are good conductors of heat and electricity. Metals can conduct the heat and electricity. Okay, that's why here you see. This is a metal. This is a metal which is copper out here being used in making the wire. Why? Because it can conduct the electricity. Okay, it can conduct the electricity. Not only that, if you go to the kitchen and see the utensils there, usually you find all those utensils being made up of metals. You see the aluminum containers there. So when you cook something, they're on aluminum container, and after some time you try to touch it with bare hand. It will burn your hand. Why? Because the heat is being transferred from the oven to the container. Why? Because the container is made up of metal. So that's a good conductor of heat. All right. Then metals they have high melting point. They have high melting point. They have got high melting point. So this melting point is not point, this point I'm talking about. All right. This is different. So point means out here the temperature, constant temperature at which metals melt. Even the metals, this silver, gold, okay, the iron, all will melt, but it requires very high temperature, 3,300 degrees Celsius, 2,500 degrees Celsius. This kind of temperature is needed to melt them. So that is called melting point. They have got very high melting point. Okay, they have high boiling point, boiling point out here. The metals can be boiled, but for that it requires very high temperature again. Okay, very high. Water being a compound, which I discussed before. Water being a compound also boil, but it requires 100 degrees Celsius. At 100 degrees Celsius, water boils. But here, unlike that, this metal requires very high temperature to boil. So boiling point is also very high. Another property we have is sonorous. Sonorous. Metals are sonorous. Please repeat after me. S-O-N-O-R-O-U-S. Sonorous. Sonorous means why they are sonorous? Because they produce sound. Metals can produce sound. Metals can produce. You see number of musical instruments. You see guitar. In guitar also you see the string being made up of some kinds of metals. So once you strike it, it will produce the sound. Because of that property only, it is used there in the instruments. Okay, so it is highly sonorous. Metals are sonorous. I can give you the examples out here. You see, these two are metals. When I strike this each other, it will produce the sound. Why? Because they are metals. Okay, so they are sonorous. So these are the properties of metals. All right. So I think this would be enough for making you understand what metals are, or what are the properties of the metals do have. I think that would be enough for you. We go to the examples of metals. What are the examples of metals? I have already given you. You see gold. All right. Silver, iron. Okay. So iron. So these are the examples of metal: gold, silver, iron. Okay, like that. And another example, another property. Let me tell you once again another property they have. Another property. You see, metals are usually solid at room temperature. They are solid, except like mercury and gallium. Except mercury and gallium. Mercury is also metal. Gallium is also metal, but they are not solid. They are usually in liquid form. Right? Mercury is a liquid metal. So beside these two, others are solid. All right. An example I've told you: gold, silver, iron, mercury are the ones that belong to metals. Now we go to next is your non-metal. Non-metal. What are the properties that non-metals do have? Number one, they are dull. They are dull. They are not lustrous. They do not shine. Okay? They do not shine. Alright? Unlike this, they do not shine. Alright? And they do not reflect light. Do not reflect light. Do not reflect light. It's almost same. Dull and dull. They are dull. All those dull things do not reflect light. So they do not reflect light. Non-metals do not reflect light. Alright? And they are mostly brittle. They are brittle in nature. Brittle. What is brittle? B-R-I-T-T-L-E. Brittle. They are brittle in nature. Brittle means they are breakable. You can break them. Okay? Like you can break them. They are breakable. So non-metals are breakable, or they are brittle in nature. And unlike this, they are non-malleable. Unlike this metal, the non-metals are, non-malleable. They cannot be beaten into sheets. Okay, they cannot be designed into different kinds of shapes. So in the same way, they are non-ductile also. Non-ductile. They cannot be beaten into wire. They cannot be made into wire. Unlike the metals do have. Metals can be beaten into wire, but they cannot be. These non-metals cannot be beaten into wires. Okay, and in the same way, they are bad conductors. Metals are bad conductors of heat and electricity. Okay, metals are bad conductors of heat and electricity. All right, they are bad conductors of heat and electricity, except graphite. except what? Graphite. Okay, so non-metals are bad conductors of heat and electricity except graphite. You know graphite that you use there in making the pencil lead, you know, pencil lead with which you write. So that is graphite, which is carbon. So that is non-metal, but this graphite can conduct the heat. Okay, can conduct the electricity also. Okay, except that rest of the non-metals are bad conductors of heat and electricity. All right, and they have low melting point, low melting point. They melt at lower temperature. In the same way, they have low boiling point. They boil at lower temperature. They have got low melting point. They melt at low temperature. They have got low boiling point. That means they have got lower boiling point. They boil at lower temperature. Okay. So these are the comparative discussion about these metals and non-metals as well, and properties of each one of them, like metals and non-metals. I am telling you the properties, but you can compare also simultaneously. What are metals? What are non-metals? What are the differences between these two can also be understood from this comparative chart of these metals and non-metals. Alright, then they are not sonorous. They cannot produce the sound. Okay, so we go to examples now. What are the examples of non-metals? So we have got many examples of non-metals like carbon. I have given you the example of graphite. Graphite is, you know, a non-metal. Okay, graphite is a form of carbon. All right. Then oxygen, nitrogen, hydrogen. So these are the non-metals. I think you are clear with, you know, all those which I have so far told about metals and non-metals. Okay, children. Now we go to the third type of elements, that is metalloids. That is what now? Metalloids. What are metalloids? So metalloids are those elements which have the intermediate properties of metals and non-metals. That means those elements which have got the properties of both metals and non-metals, all right, are coming under the metalloids. That means those elements which have the intermediate properties of both metals and non-metals. I just write here intermediate properties of metals and non-metals. Okay, so those elements which have intermediate properties of metals and non-metals come under metalloids. So they are the metalloids. So example, I'll give you some examples. We have got boron, B-O-R-O-N, boron. Please repeat after me. B-O-R-O-N, boron. Then we have silicon, S-I-L-I-C-O-N, silicon. We have germanium, G-E-R-M-A-N-I-U-M, germanium. Okay, another metalloid. And we have got arsenic, A-R-S-E-N-I-C, arsenic, etc. So these are the different types of, you know, metalloids which have the intermediate properties of metals and non-metals. All right. Then we have now is your noble gases. Okay, noble gases. So what kind of elements come under noble gases? So noble gases or noble elements are those elements which cannot react with each other. They cannot, combine with others. They cannot chemically unite with others. Okay, that means they cannot make compounds. They cannot combine with others. All right. So those elements which do not chemically react with others are called noble gases. They are also called inert gases. They are also called rare gases. They are all found there in the air in a very trace quantity, that is in very less quantity, in a very minute quantity. They are present in air. All right. So they're in the nature also. Alright, so they are called noble gases, inert gases are rare gases. So there are 6 different kinds of noble gases. Example, we have got argon. Please repeat after me. Argon, A-R-G-O-N, argon. We have got krypton, K-R-Y-P-T-O-N, krypton, argon, krypton. Then neon, N-E-O-N, neon. X-E-N-O-N, xenon, X-E-N-O-N, xenon. Then we have helium, S-E-L-I-U-M, helium, S-E-L-I-U-M, helium, and radon, R-A-D-O-N, radon, R-A-D-O-N, radon. Okay, so these are the noble gases. That means they cannot combine with each other to make the compounds. Like here in this case, you see, like from here, so as you see all those things there, they can combine with each other and they can make the compounds. As I've given you the example before, that is hydrogen and oxygen when combined make a new substance, make a new matter, which is called compound. Okay, so in this case, when hydrogen and oxygen combine, they make water. What is a compound? But unlike that, these noble gases cannot react with others, so that they are also called noble gases. Okay, this is all about the different types of elements which are classified into 4, that is metal, non-metal, metalloids, and noble gases. And I have tried my best to give you in detail all about it. You please go through it not only once, not only twice, but thrice, if possible, as many times as possible, so that you understand it very clearly. Alright, and I have already requested you to please keep your book open. Once you go through this video, once you want to take yourself through this video, please keep your book open so that you understand it better. Otherwise, there may be some problems in understanding all of them. So better you try to keep your book open and go through it simultaneously. Alright, so after this, I would like to give you some home assignments. Please write it. Some home assignments. Okay, homework. So you write, number 1, define. Okay, define element. Define element. Number 2, define element. B, metalloid. And number C, noble gases. Okay, now one question is define element, metalloid, noble gases. Number 2 question. Write table 2.1 from your book. Okay, write table 2.1 from your book. Here it is on page number 29. There is a table 2.1 where you find differences between metals and non-metals. You please copy this also. Alright, so this much work at least you need to do it. Okay, so that you can also test yourself. Okay, whether how far you have understood from this video, you can test yourself also. If you are able to solve these problems on your own, so you will understand that you have understood a great extent today. You have understood, you have gained so many things in this concern. So this is what you understand if you are able to do this work on your own. Alright, so if there is any confusion, if you would like to ask me something more about it, or if you are confused with the homework, you can ask me on this number. This is my number. 9733319901 is my number. You can ask me on this number, or you can also WhatsApp me. Alright, dear children, I think you are able to do it on your own way. Okay, so thank you so much, my dear children.